At 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition and liftoff of Starlink 422.
Hi, Godspeed. I'm from European Union and I discovered that the Big Bang is false. But in this video I want to explain to you what gravity is. Gravity does not attract since Galileo time. It is not a force of attraction. It is acceleration in an inertial system from Galileo Galilei.
You can see the speed holding steady on the first stage as we're on a trajectory back towards the Atlantic Ocean.
So I want you to see the next video for you to understand is the reason for I open this video with SpaceX rocket launch. The same rocket in space. You must watch this video carefully. At the engine there is a little bit of debris of something like aluminium foil or something that they wrap up the engine or okay, so it broke up and it sticks near the engine. You want to observe this carefully. There are some pieces like this in the like on the engine of the SpaceX motor, okay? So this proves to you, if you do not understand what I'm telling you, that gravity does not attract. It is not attraction. The debris, aluminium or foil or what it is, sticks to the engine because they have a common acceleration system. The speed of the spacecraft, of the motor, of the acceleration, it is the cause that this sticks to the motor, okay?
On the left-hand side of your screen is our first stage, making its way back to planet Earth, which you can see in the background. And on the right-hand side is our second stage's Merlin vacuum engine, taking our Starlink satellites to orbit.
When the motor stops, the debris fly away.
Stage 1 landing is confirmed.
And
But you understand, so from Galileo, gravity is acceleration. You understand? It is a common acceleration system, and it is not a law or attraction between the space engine and the debris. You accelerate the hand, this sticks to your hand, okay? It is not because my hand attracted. It is not attraction from Galileo time. This is important. Why? Because this gravity means not a force of attraction. It is a force of gravity. Gravitational force means to rotate, to gravitate. Two bodies gravitate one around another, okay? So it is wrongly seen like a force of attraction, and it is not. Why this is important now? You see from the International Space Station, Chris Hadfield, it is showing to you some objects, spinning objects. No matter how fast do you spin a given object, it is not going to be round.
So I really enjoyed the game you guys came up with. I assembled it. It was close to your assembly instructions. I think close enough to meet the objectives. Had to substitute a couple things, but I ended up with a fairly good ball of tape and then the paddle wheel arrangement here in order to give it different propulsion of the top and the bottom, just like a paddle wheel spinning, or in this case against the air.
It is not, the object will maintain the shape that it is given. Okay, this is science, because I want you to understand that gravity does not make a spherical planet. You must understand this. No matter how Chris rotate that object, it will not going to be spherical.
I substituted the central axle drive shaft here just because of the materials available, but it worked okay. I figured out that the way you suggested, blowing on it to spin it up, that was the best way. It's very difficult to get a nice straight vector out of it here, but what I did, I think you could definitely see that it curved. But to turn it into a reliable game, I think there's too much shotgun spatter to try and get your initial launch vector to be able to get good at accurately curving it over something. I think the basic idea works, and it's kind of a fun game to have on board, fun thing to look at the physics of it, but I'm not sure it's going to catch on as a universe-wide sport.
Very cool. I'm really glad we were able to at least take some of your time in an interesting way.
It is not going to be spherical. The object has a geometrical chemical bounding, okay? So it will maintain the shape no matter how you will rotate it. So now you must understand why I'm telling you, why I started with SpaceX video. That you understand that it is not attraction, that you will wrongly believe that some common attraction in a given center of mass will make spherical a planet. So the planets are not known why they are spherical. Okay, it is not known why they are spherical. First of all, it is not attraction. Okay, it is not attraction. It is not known why the planets are spherical. You understand? It's very important. Gravity will not sphericize, or how do you say, will make spherical an object. The object will maintain its geometrical form due to the atomical chemical boundings. Okay, so it is not known why the planets are spherical until this hour.
So I really enjoyed the game you guys came up with. I assembled it. It was close to your assembly instructions. I think close enough to meet the objectives. Had to substitute a couple things, but I ended up with a fairly good ball of tape, and then the paddle wheel arrangement here in order to give it different propulsion of the top and the bottom, just like a paddle wheel spinning, or in this case against the air.
Gravity, it is not an attraction. Okay, this, if you understand this will contradict many things. The creation or the planets, it could not be given gravitational creation, because the gravity is not a law of attraction, and so this contradicts, if you understand gravity, contradicts the formation of the planets. Like the current view is like they are congealed from some dust, space dust and gases. But if you understood that the gravity is not this, you understand now that the gravity is not a force of attraction that to make a spherical object. Okay, it is not okay. So another thing, you see that he gives a spin, okay, to that object. You must understand also now that it is not known why the earth has a spin. It is not known why. It is not known the spin of the earth. If you say the gravity, there are two things, the spin and the rotation around the sun. The sun itself has a spin. The sun rotates in its own axis, okay? So who gives the spin to the sun, to the earth? The moon does not have a spin. You understand? So the gravity is not a miraculous force that will explain the spin, the rotation and everything. Gravity from Galileo is acceleration, okay? You understand? So that's why I showed you that he gives the spin of that object, and in the virtue of inertial law, he will keep the motion by the time some other object stops that motion, rectilinear, uniform, or circular. In this video, I wanted to tell you that it is not known, okay? Like this apple, it is not made through gravity, round, but in a virtue of some chemical principle. This is a globe of Christmas tree globe, okay? It is not made by gravity, spherical. It is spherical because it is this shape, it is chosen, okay? So
I substituted the central axle drive shaft here just because of the materials available, but it worked okay. I figured out that the way you suggested, blowing on it to spin it up, that was the best way. It's very difficult to get a nice straight vector out of it here, but what I did, I think you could definitely see that it curved. But to turn it into a reliable game, I think there's too much shotgun spatter to try and get your initial launch vector to be able to get good at accurately curving it over something. I think the basic idea works, and it's kind of a fun game to have on board, fun thing to look at the physics of it, but I'm not sure it's going to catch on as a universe-wide sport.
Very cool. I'm really glad we were able to at least take some of your time in an interesting way.
if you understand that it is important that the gravity will not create the planets, okay, you must understand now that we do not know why the planets are spherical, okay? And gravity is not a force of attraction. So I affirm that the planets were created crystallized under a cloud of galactic water, okay? They were crystallized in the virtue, from Chris Hadfield the same, in the virtue of the water gathers in the spherical shape, like, and the fire also, like this, maybe with pressure, constant pressure. This is the way were planets made, in the cloud of water, and the water was broke up in two, split, and like in the Bible says, okay, like in the Bible says, the planets were made in water, Earth was made in water, like in the second, in the Bible, the second epistola of letter of Peter says that the sky was but at old and the earth was crystallized, made in water and through water. And you understand, the planets the same, were made in water. The current theory is wrong, if you understand, because the gravity will not pull an object to make an object spherical. It will not do this, okay, if you understand. So it was a cloud of water and the planet were inside the cloud of water. And like in the Bible says, the God split the water and ejected from the solar system. The planets were suspended, already made spherical, and the water is on the border of our galaxy, and the sun was not ignited yet, and the sun was ignited afterwards, okay? Like, you cannot ignite light only in a fast manner. So this is all I wanted to tell you in this video. If you understand, okay, I'm telling you the truth. Gravity does not do this. An object will maintain this chemical property and structure.
The question is, if you get a cloth dripping wet without gravity and you wring it out, what's going to happen? What will happen to a wrung out cloth? So, and I had to use equipment that was here on board the space station. We may have the coolest washcloths ever here on the space station. I'm going to show you. Here's one of our washcloths. And it's compacted. It's put down into this little tiny hockey puck so that it saves space. But when you open up a hockey puck and you pull out your washcloth, This is the one I'm going to use for the experiment today. And so when you open up your hockey puck and turn it into a washcloth, it was compressed in a great big vise somewhere. Okay, so here's my washcloth, like a magic trick. And now I'm going to get this soaking wet, and then we're going to see what'll happen when we wring it out. Meredith and Kendra suggested that I dip this in a bag, but bags don't hold water in space, so instead I filled a water bag. This has drinking water in it. And I'm going to squirt a bunch of water into this washcloth. Okay, so here's a soaking wet washcloth. Get the microphone so you can hear me while I'm talking. And now let's start wringing it out. It's really wet. It's becoming a tube of water.
The water at Chris Hadfield, it is not sticking on his hand by the virtue of gravity, by the virtue of electrochemical bondings, okay, and free ions and free energy, like and magnetism and things like this, okay. So if the water does this in space, this is why it sticks to the earth. The earth sticks together in the virtue of some chemical bondings. The mountain sticks together in the virtue of the chemical bonding, okay? And it is not spherical. If you rotate this body,
the water is all over my hands. In fact, it wrings out of the cloth into my hands. And if I let go of the cloth carefully, the water sort of has it stick to my hand. Okay, so the experiment worked beautifully. And the answer to the question is the water squeezes out of the cloth, and then because of the surface tension of the water, it actually runs along the surface of the cloth and then up into my hand, almost like you had Jello on your hands or gel on your hand, and it'll just stay there. Wonderful moisturizer on my hands. And the cloth doesn't really unravel itself. It just stays there floating like a dog's chew toy, soaking wet. Great experiment, worked perfectly. Meredith and Kendra, congratulations, great idea.
the body should made on a single axis should be like flattened. And okay, if you want to understand, so it is maintained, it is constructed to be round from the beginning, from some constant pressure applied, like this. The water sticks together in the sphere that is showing the Chris Hadfield and all the astronauts show that the water sticks together in the sphere, but it is not sufficient, this reason, to understand that the planets are spherical, because inside the spaceship there's a constant pressure surrounding the ball of water, okay, and the ball stays suspended like the entire earth, and how the ball of water stays suspended, the entire stays suspended, okay, and round made, but it is not sufficient reason to understand why the planets are made spherical. I believe that were made under pressure somehow, in some condition of pressure in a galactic cloud of water. This is everything I wanted to tell you in this video. Why the planets are spherical, it is not known. It is not known, you must understand. no matter how you will rotate, a body will constrain its own shape, geometrical shape, and gravity is not a force that makes a round object. This is everything I wanted to tell you in this video. The planets and the solar system is made under the water. Okay, if you want to lie like in the old fashion, you must understand that you are children and you do not know science. You see the Chris Hadfield in space, all the bodies maintain the geometrical force, okay? And I've showed you from Elon Musk and from Galileo time, it is acceleration in an acceleration system, okay? Acceleration in it is an acceleration on a common acceleration system. It's a force maybe of rotation like this, and you compound the vectors, and okay, that's why all the bodies fall in the same time, no matter the mass on the moon, and it is a single acceleration on all the planets, no matter the object, like this and this will fall in the same time. This is what Galileo, because it says, because it is the acceleration of that system, okay? And it is a single acceleration for a single celestial body. Like I put to you, it is a single acceleration for a single celestial body. Goodbye. Think about this, and you will understand that I am right. Okay, so goodbye. God bless, and goodbye.
Vehicle remains on a nominal trajectory.
Stage 1 FTS has saved.
Stage 1 entry burn startup.
And I would love it if they had a little jet of air somehow, because then they could really get it to spin.
2-inch tape.